Yeah, absolutely. So, all right, this is John Davis, Davis Business Coaching. I'm here with Dean DeLamar. Did I say that right, Dean? DeLamar?
Yeah, DeLamar.
DeLamar, right? And your business is Tricon Tool, but
Yes, my name is Dean DeLamar. I'm with Tricon Tool. I've been in business since, I guess, deep in debt in 2001. So before that was part-time. Uh, Tool and die business is we generally work with manufacturers. So we supply them with parts and machines and different components that they may need, either plastic injection, metal stamping, fixtures, the whole list of things, everything except fabrication.
so what when you say fabric, hold me back up. So you make the tools for them to do that, or you're actually physically making the components?
Yes, so we would make parts of a stamping die,
Right,
parts of a injection mold, but we don't actually mold or run the parts.
right. You make the tools
So
that fit onto their machines, their press brakes, their injections, whatever they may be.
in the dies itself, there's a few of the pictures I have on the wall. I'm actually in a high school now. I'm one of the first to lease a room at a government high school. So my plans are to further our business with machining of precision parts, but also have access for the youth of the next generation or the next employees up in manufacturing, introduce manufacturing to them at a 9th grade to 12th grade level.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So I don't, we didn't talk about this. I'm a mechanical engineer. And
Okay.
I wish before I went to engineering school, I was exposed to something like that. I probably was, but they didn't, they didn't expose everybody to it. So yeah, so there's your shop, and that's great. You're running your business out of the school, so you're creating future employees and training them up the right way.
As far as youth apprenticeships, since 2008, when I was in Newton County, we did 4 successful youth apprenticeships that furthered their study in college as mechanical engineers. I created a relationship with the school principal, and he invited me out about 3 years ago, and I made the comment of, why don't you give me one of these empty rooms and I'll fill it full of students. And just in January, I opened it up. My lawyers and all the other thing got the paperwork signed. A lot of liability.
Sure.
But we have a lease for 5 years.
Awesome.
And we're going at it. So it's more work-based learning, more using the AutoCAD Inventor, Mastercam, some of the programs and things like that. But as far as the Tricon Tool business, Cody and Jack's, I don't know if you can see or not.
I see. We can see a person moving.
Yeah, Jack's over there along with Cody. Cody works for me. Also, I have Jarrett. He's back here programming.
Okay.
Programming some Davidson parts for whatever reason we're running.
So you're running a business that's also doing, and part of the business is you're training high school kids in a classroom setting.
The neat thing is I'm running a business for profit in a high school setting. So
that's pretty cool.
Not paid by the school. I'm just only a partner with the school.
Right.
And we're the largest partnership in Georgia as far as the capital that we have in our shop.
Right.
There's YRDM, and I'll go out there real quick.
So you said you're in Newton County or Henry County or both?
Henry County now.
Okay.
So,
and for those that don't know, Henry County is just south of Atlanta.
Yes, sir. Henry County south. So this is the CNC mill. Cody is working on some parts.
You may need to speak a little louder, Dean.
Cody is working on some parts for Harley Davidson, Conyers, Georgia.
Okay.
have any? It's just custom machine parts.
Okay. Very cool.
All we do, we make different parts like this for a race car lift. We're making some more parts with this is the wire EDM. This is actually a part that goes on a press brake
Right.
for fabrication, surface grinder. And then over here, we're making more oddball parts. So tool and die machine shop, precision machine shop,
Right.
where they're actually learning
NC lathes, milling equipment, press
learning and
brake
producing
operation.
some parts. That one's
Very
okay.
cool. All right.
That was not supposed to do that.
I was wondering.
I'll circle back to that one.
Yeah, go back to that later. Okay, I got it. So you make the equipment, you make the tools and dies, and you're also working with the kids and training them. So that's pretty cool. So, and you mentioned Harley Davidson and Conyers. So who's kind of your best customer, like by industry or geography, by location? Who's a great client for you?
I would say right now, SRG Global in Covington, Georgia. They make
Okay.
a lot of things for the automotive industry. And that is the work of metal stamping dies.
Okay.
So we're working on.
So auto people in the automobile manufacturing silo is ideal.
And then I would also say this company called Dirt Cart Lift, which is it's a hydraulic pit lift for race cars.
Okay.
A lot of those parts that you saw in the lathe are our. It's actually our business also.
So anyone who's
We
manufacturing their
product for that.
I assume anyone manufacturing their own materials from their own parts from raw materials, aluminum, steel, plastics, if they're bringing in raw materials and making their parts in-house, or they are a manufacturer of those parts, is probably a good customer for you.
Yes, sir. That actually is a product of ourselves. So that's a sister company for us as a machine shop. You know, we've always did onesie, twosie stuff, but that is more of a production, manufacture, and sale.
Right.
Piece. More specific for the racing industry, which is very small, but it keeps us busy.
So you do okay, let me clarify then. You make the parts for people who make their own parts, or you will make low volume parts.
Yes, sir.
Right. As a supplier of specialty equipment that got
it. Precision machining, using CNC, mill, lathe, and wire EDM and sinker EDM, or electrical discharge machining.
Do you get involved in first run parts, pilot, prototype parts for manufacturers?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So in my past, right, so we make commercial food equipment, and we would probably plan on building it ourselves, making all the components ourselves. But because of the way our business was run, I ran the engineering and marketing groups. The engineering group, sometimes it was easier to get parts from a supplier like yourself for prototypes and design, because you could turn them around quicker and it would not be disruptive to daily manufacturing.
Yes, sir. Probably 20, 30 years ago, every manufacturing business had their own tool and die shops or machine. As we go along now, our trade has died, and it seems easier for companies to farm that work out and keep doing what they're doing best, and that's manufacturing products, whether it be in the States or import.
Yeah, absolutely. We could talk for hours offline about the challenges between engineering and manufacturing groups trying to get parts made when you're trying to develop a new product.
Yes.
So the last couple of years have been a little weird. I mean, there's always change, and not just the whole COVID thing, but then you had supply chain issues. Everyone I talked to has complained about staffing. And now looking forward, there's people thinking about inflation and a recession. So just looking back the last 3 years or more, what changes have you done in your business that's been a reaction to our global situation?
Well, as far as the manufacturer of the dirt car lift product, that business has been growing probably 50% ever since 2015. So when 2019 rolled around, I was like, oh my gosh, now what are we going to do? Because I think at that time we had probably 6, 8 employees, and we were in another building, not this one. And it was scary. But the weird thing about that particular situation was our race car customers wasn't working, but they were still working on their race cars. So our business tripled.
Wow.
It tripled. Then we realized our supply chain situation, and we still fight that on a daily basis. Where once we could issue an open PO for a certain amount of time, 6 months or 1 year, and that was a price that was, we all agreed on. That price stayed the same, and supplies came in, every month. It changed. It was your open PO now turned into you just was in line to get whatever they wanted to charge you at that particular day of the mill.
Right.
So we would go from one vendor to possibly, I think, up to 4 vendors just to make sure we had the product. In our case, this is a hydraulic lift, and it uses a lot of aluminum bar or bar stock.
Mm-hmm.
We had to go through, I think, Hadco in South Carolina, Ryerson, I think Dyson. That was another. A lot of the big,
right.
But if
All
you
the big
didn't,
ones, all the big suppliers.
yes, or if you didn't put in an order with a blank check, you just didn't get material, and so
Right.
our price quadrupled from
So what
that.
did you do about that? Did you have to change your pricing model? I clearly it impacted your scheduling, but also probably your pricing model to your customers, I'm guessing.
We did have to adjust for the price. I mean, as far as our material costs went from, let's just say $150 to $300 per, $3,000 worth of lift. But there's a lot of more. There's more purchase price. The toolbox it sits in, the hydraulic pump, the hoses, the couplers, the screws, the hardwares, the stickers.
Right.
We'd have so much money in stickers. Oh, and then the box. The box is doubled. The boxes that we ship in are doubled. It's just a supply thing.
So all right. So you still had open POs, but you approached them differently. But did you change your processes internally to deal with that?
Well, the open POs, you would have thought we'd have still got our pumps, but because we were very, very low customer and in the eyes of another big manufacturer of trailers who
right.
A lot of our, use the same products that we use, we didn't get any. The pump company pretty much said that you guys don't matter. We're going to this other company that spends more money.
So what did you do?
Well, I actually went to China because all of these pumps are manufactured from China. The ones that come over here, they put a reservoir on them, and then they put manufactured in the USA. So that was an interesting thing to learn. To deal with China as a manufacturer for the first time, you basically wrote a check. You sent them your requirements, and 6 months later, you were lucky if it showed up. And fortunately, they did show up.
Right.
But the savings that we did and the money that we had to spend up front, plus all the other, I guess, nervousnesses that I would get, I don't know if I would do that again.
So that's a good question. That goes right to my next question. Are there any changes, decisions you made that you wish you had done differently? Offshores, open POs.
The whole offshore thing. the time the tariffs got on there, and then the time that you had to deal with, you know, getting on a boat because of the weight of the product. I don't really see that as that much of a gain. I did learn that the prices from China were negotiable, but I never did get back to that part of it.
Right. I had forgotten about that because I dealt with that in my past, in my prior life. I remember those tariffs in 18 and 19 that were coming around that Trump was pushing out as a negotiating tactic.
Sure,
It,
sure.
it man, it created a lot of angst in our world.
Well, the thing is, if you think about an electric motor, we don't make those rotors or stators in the States where we once used to make the windings and all that. All of those lines were scrapped out, and it was just cheaper to buy them from offshore.
Right. Even with the tariffs sometimes.
That's it. I think there's other ways direct from China. You could probably go direct to Cozumel or some of the other countries that then import to the States. I think that's a more of a logistics, a learning curve that you have to figure out. And I call it college. So it's a college fee.
I would say the last few years, well, if I go back my last 20 years in manufacturing, for a period, purchasing, the purchasing group and the sourcing group, they were either focused on negotiation or just they paid attention to inventory and demand and supply, and they executed orders. I don't want to belittle what they did, but that's mostly how they were viewed. And then if I look back the last 2 or 3 years, your ability to source and purchase effectively can be a strategic advantage. And having those contacts and being able to make decisions on the fly, I think is a key for manufacturers now. I think they've learned that.
Yes. Having multiple contacts is the only thing I would add to that, because once you built up a source, as long as the customer service was there, then you stay. It's only that I thought they were shipping last week. What do you mean you're waiting on parts? It's a 20 email list of all of that takes time out of your day, and really do treasure good customer service and good communication. Communication, comprehension. That is the second part. We all say things, we all understand it, but sometimes we don't comprehend what we're trying to do.
Well, especially in different languages, terminology, legal terms. That can be very interesting. Are there any changes that you've made in the last few years that are a permanent part of your business going forward? Like, maybe you wouldn't have considered it 5 years ago, and now you're like, I'm never going back.
Well, with the increase in sales, we actually did look out to a coaching coach or a business coach who helped us develop our shipping department, where our guy, actually Jared over there, who's doing some programming on Mastercam, was our head shipping guy, and he had all that tribal knowledge in his head of what order, how it got shipped, and all the components that went in it. So Bo Grover came in.
Bo.
You know Bo?
I know Bo.
Yes, you know Bo. The BU or BU or
BEAU.
There you go, Mr. Grover. He came down and he organized our shipping area where everything was documented, and we were able to hire an exceptional new employee who just took right to it, and we were able to move Jared on to the next up and coming position.
So you built a department, you hired somebody and promoted somebody because somebody helped you put together the system, it sounds like.
We had the department, but it wasn't very efficient.
Okay.
So, I mean, I'm not beating up on Jared, but he would have to go way over here and get the boxes. He'd have to go way over there and get some other component and get the parts, which are way over there. So there was a lot of walking involved. And so what Bo did, he removed my time clock from that department. He said everything that needs to ship needs to be in this area, and nothing else needs to be in this area. And that he moved my time clock. I was like, well, why we got to move the time clock? And I had to move the light at some weird angle that would get better light going on. We had a table that was custom made. It had to be on rollers, a whole list. And it really, really turned out well. I would have to say that was amazing. I mean, looking at the cost, it's a lot of people would step back at that, but I look at it and I thought it was well worth it.
It paid for itself. That's awesome. Well, yeah, we could talk about Bo offline. He's gonna be happy to hear the good response.
Is it the syndicated something? I think
What's that?
His business is syndicated, something like
the Effective Syndicate.
That's it. Yes.
The Effective Syndicate is his business. He works with manufacturers. Little plug for Bo. He works with manufacturers. I know he goes to Chicago quite a bit. And he works with them on efficiency and building a subcomponent of their business. So yeah, I met him through the Georgia Manufacturing Alliance, and so yep,
yeah. That's where I met Jason and it was an elite business group of leaders that would meet once a month and talk about it.
Absolutely. So, you talked about, the network, you talked about connections earlier, that networking. I mean, but the idea of having a circle of people that are similar to you that you can rely on for information and referrals is, I mean, especially, business owners, we're all in our own little world, and forcing us to meet with other people in other disciplines, either the same or different, can be a huge asset to decision making. Huge.
Yeah. Yes. It was really good to share your problems with other business leaders. I learned a lot from them and took their advice. But I'm nowhere near what some of those guys are.
Yeah, we all have our own journey. That's fine. So, kind of on that, what's the biggest thing you've learned since you've been a business owner? We were just talking beforehand, before we started here, about, you told so much, you gave some good advice, but what have you learned?
I think, the more you idiot proof a product, they make a better idiot. Of course, that's probably not something I want to put out there.
I'll see if we can cut that. Uh-oh, we've frozen.
And
we froze up there.
Sir,
Dean, are you there?
We're having a couple of, yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we cut out there for a little bit.
I think we lost our Wi-Fi.
Oh, okay. And you're in a big
building.
So
are you there?
I can hear you.
Yep. Okay. So I guess. Oh, we lost power. Oh yeah, that's wonderful.
Do you have to go?
No, I'm still here. Okay.
Yeah, we only have a minute or two more. Now you're frozen again.
Let me try just the regular cell data. Is that any better?
Yeah, that's better. Okay. Yeah, I think if you think you good?
Yeah, I'm still flexing a little bit here. Let me see what's going on out here. See if that's any better. So, I guess.
Just for everyone else, I don't know how this is going to get spliced together. We had a power outage on Dean's facility, so we kind of lost our internet. So we're kind of picking back up. So, Dean, the question was, what's your biggest learning since being a business owner? Oh, we lost you. We lost you. I can't hear you, Dean. Okay. Now your audio is coming back.
Let's see, biggest learning experience.
Yeah. So as I was telling everybody, we had a power outage, lost the internet. So we're picking up in the middle. So the question to Dean is, what's your biggest learning experience since being a business owner?
You just gotta love what you do. You gotta love what you do, and you gotta, number one, treat your customers with the highest of service possible, even if you lose money on it. You got to make sure that happens.
Got to do what's right.
Not make exactly. You got to do it and do it well.
All right, that's a good one. So,
do not. Let me say another thing. Don't try and be the cheapest. Try and be the best. Try and make the deliveries right, and hit them on the head. They love it.
Yeah, I mean, we talk about being unique.
Did you get that?
I did. Yeah. If you're unique, you don't have to be the lowest price. If you have no differentiation, you're the lowest price, and there's always going to be somebody else fighting you, and there's no margin, and there's no fun down there. So
no, you can be tired, or you can be poor and tired.
Exactly.
So I just rather.
Yeah,
I just rather be poor.
Yeah,
one of the two.
One of them, yeah. So, so is there any offers or opportunities within your business that you want to make sure people know about? This will probably go out in a couple weeks here. It's early August 22. Probably go out before September 22.
As far as our lift sales, we got some new products going out. As far as our customers, we're really starting to gain some skills with the youth. And I'm really excited about that. I have 6 high school students on payroll, working through work-based learning, and it won't be long, then they'll be ready for the workforce.
You know, that's a great segue, because my last question is, what's most inspiring to you today? What gets you really excited about your business going forward?
The facility here is amazing. You know, the school money is endless for as buildings, concrete and bricks. I'm troubled that we don't necessarily have the teachers that have the desire to teach some of those, I guess, skills. I'm not beating up on the teachers, but you know, there are plenty of students here that have the passion to learn. They just need to have opportunity to use their minds and
be challenged,
growing. Yes, they just need to be challenged.
I think that tide is changing. My wife's a teacher. She teaches computer science at the middle school and now at the high school level. And kind of where you are, particularly in the trades. I mean, everyone talks about the trades. People aren't learning. They've been pushed to college, pushed to college, pushed to college. And I think this is me getting on a soapbox here, but I think within the school system, not that I've been in it, just been married to one, the teachers are, and everyone gets more excited about the high academic kids. They don't pay attention to the trades. But now I think it's swinging back. When I say trades, even where she is, people are going to technical school for science. I think people are realizing that college doesn't have to be for everybody. And there's a lot of people, just because they're not on a college track, it doesn't mean that they're not smart. It doesn't mean they're not hard workers. You get a lot of, smart kids and genius kids that are hardworking kids. They just know reading a book and sitting at a desk is not for them. And that's fine. And I think that's coming back, and people like you, and I think you're going to get more teachers that are into that environment to help kids. I believe it. I really do.
Yeah,
I think the teachers have the ability. They're just limited to certain things because they don't have the safety glasses. They don't have the budget for this. And it's really kind of puzzling that there'll be a grant for, let's say, a CNC mill, but that's a lot of money. But
Mhm.
just to have a CNC mill, there's a whole nother $5,000 worth of tooling, in mill holders and things like that that have to go along with it. And then you add the programming software that goes along with it. So you basically have this big capital investment and no one uses it. All these 3D printers that are all over this place. I don't know any of them that work. And all it needs is the filament to run it to start making parts.
It's
And so
probably
I'm
people,
helping.
I'm guessing it's because they don't know how to use it, and then they're also changing their curriculum.
Well, there's certain budgets, and with 3D printers, if they get any water in the filament, then they don't work right. So that has to be stored in a closed environment. Plus, those 3D printers, they're real hard to learn. You just stick a program in it and you hit start.
Right.
So,
Yeah. Not like my paper printer over here. Well, it's cool that you're working with kids, and I liked what you said about the kids, that they work hard, and I'm glad you're doing something like that. I wish I had that opportunity 30 some
there's
years.
1,400 kids right here. There's 1,400 at this particular school, Academy for Advanced Studies in Henry County. And if you just get 1%, 2%, 28, 30, that's a lot of students to go into manufacturing in the Southeast, I think,
Absolutely.
at that early of an age.
Absolutely. All right. Well, Dean, I thank you for the time here. This has been cool learning about your business. I think other people are going to like it in my circle. And I want them to know, about your business, but it's really cool to hear what you're doing in the school side too, the education side. So,
my end goal, I guess you're not supposed to tell what your end goals are, but my hopes are to try and turn this into a job staffing agency one day, but I've got a long ways to go. Where I'm not funded by the government. It's just me and my wife, and I've got a 13-year-old kid. So once I get my, curriculum and materials together, then I'll be ready to help support other manufacturers and other school systems. That would be my dream thing.
Yeah. All right. Well, that would be cool. You'd be the pilot. So excellent. Well, thank you, Dean.
Yes.
Good chatting with you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right.